2023 Auburn University Marching Band. For your halftime entertainment, we celebrate the 43-year reign of the speed metal kings, Metallica. With 9 Grammy Awards and 14 nominations, 38 concert tours worldwide, and 11 studio albums that span 4 decades, the Titans of Thrash remain the standard by which all other metal is measured. We begin with a 1984 classic from their second album, For Whom the Bell Tolls, followed by the 1992 tour anthem, Wherever I May Roam. And then, let's turn down the house and light up the stage for the Auburn University Marching Band and their show, Metallica.
It's Wednesday night again, and that means it's time for another Auburn Family Night. This is the show here at E2C Network where you, the Auburn family, take center stage. We're going to get into your topics, your comments, your questions, and calls. All that's coming up right now. War Eagle, everybody, welcome back to another edition of E2C Network Live, where we get together, we sit down, we discuss, we share in the Auburn experience, all about Auburn sports, Auburn culture, Auburn family stuff. An easier way to say it, though, is if it's orange and blue, it is what we do. So thank you so much for joining us in what we're going to be doing today this evening, during our live call-in show known as Auburn Family Night. This is the granddaddy of them all shows here at E2C Network. Back when we first started doing YouTube type of content, it's the very first thing we did, just getting around the table, offering up a time for you to come into the show and offer your opinions in the chat. But then it evolved into much more, an opportunity to call in and get more involved. So we'll do that this evening. We'll open up the phone lines in just a little bit, but we want to start the show off by doing a couple things. First off, I want to thank our partner on Auburn Family Night, BarnerSupply.com. Not only can you see their fine logo there down in the bottom corner of our screen, I'm wearing one of their hats, probably my new favorite hat of theirs, the I Believe in Work, Hard Work hat, the dad hat, as they call it here as well. But plenty of other gear and stuff that we can show you from time to time on here, but we are proud to partner on Auburn Family Night with them for the next several weeks and months, and we're excited to have them on board for this show for the next little while. Also want to thank you all for being here, whether you watch live on the replay. If you're here live, we'd love for you to start the show off by hitting that like button. If that's a huge help, the share button as well is valuable too. And you can also let us know that you're here. Hit the button there down below to hit the comments and let us say War Eagle, where you're watching from, all that kind of stuff. It's very helpful and lets people know that you're watching and live tonight. We will go ahead and open up the phone lines for people to start getting in line for that. Last week a line developed, the wrong one. So that one is now correct and ready to go. All you have to do is take advantage of the link that's pinned to the top of YouTube. Facebook, you should be able to access it if you go to all the way to the top of the chat. It's usually not too extensive on chat, so you can usually find it. But there's that for you if you want to take advantage of the call-in links this evening and take part in our show tonight in that particular way. And again, brought to you by our friends at BarnerSupply.com. Their links are also in our chat here as well. We'll share it throughout the stream too, as much as we can. But there you go. That's the gist of it. That's the show. And here we are. Mr. Thomas Manville checking in from Leeds. Good to see you here, my friend. And thanks for hanging out with us this evening. So you guys pick the topics. You pick where we go. I'll kind of set the table for us a little bit. I'll address something that was a little bit exciting here in the last 30 minutes plus, or maybe 45 an hour, something like that. Auburn women's basketball just shocked everybody as the 15 seed and beat the number 10 seed. I know that's not that big of an upset in a lot of people's minds, but the way the season's been going in SEC play for Auburn women's basketball, this is a big upset. And if you'll recall back when, if you've listened to the Auburn experience, I talked a little bit about this with Austin. Could Larry Vickers in his first year pull a little Bruce Pearl magic in his first year, maybe having a struggle of a season, but getting into the SEC tournament and Making things a little bit interesting. And I mean, it needs to get a little bit more interesting to reach that levels. But hey, first year as head coach, he's got a couple of key wins under his belt, and one of them is the SEC tournament. So that's not something to dismiss out of hand right there. So there's that. Auburn men's basketball season is slowly winding down. Only one regular season game left, which I know is where most of your guys' minds are. Really, most of y'all are wondering if we're going to make March Madness. That'll be asked 1,000 times tonight on the stream. I'm sure of it. But we can try to dive in that as much as we can a little bit this evening. Good to see you, WT, and do that. The football roster is out now. So Austin and I talked a little bit about that on the show last week. In some areas, didn't get to go through the whole thing. I don't know if we'll get to do any more of it this week on the main show, but that's something that also is out there for you as well. Baseball and softball in full swing. Plenty of other exciting things out there. Today is National Marching Band Day, so March 4th. You get it? So show your love and appreciation for the greatest band in the land, Auburn University Marching Band. Plenty of other good things out there that we could dive into that you can pick in the sports, culture, family segment. You can do the live chat, the questions, the phone calls. It's all available to you now. Let's get rolling here. We got our first caller. He's usually ready to go every single night right away. Very few people have ever beaten him. What's going on, Kevin?
War Eagle, how you doing?
I'm doing well. I got this little thing on the side of my tongue that's like, I know this is TMI, but like that's keeping me from like talking correctly tonight, but I'll do my best. Like if I feel like I've got cotton mouth or something like that. But anyway, go ahead.
Did the girls win?
The girls won tonight. The women's basketball team beat Texas A&M, the 10 seed. So they are moving on in the SEC tournament, which I believe sets them up with Ole Miss, who is the 7 seed now, with a 7 seed.
We can beat them. Do we play tomorrow?
So I would assume it's the exact same as the men's tournament where you play every night leading up till Sunday. So yeah, I would say they're playing tomorrow, not tomorrow sometime. I don't know when the game is going to be, but yes,
And,
usually it's about the same time where you are.
And I think we will get that quarterback they're talking about, Esmail, somebody from California.
Well, I have no clue who you're talking about. Not because you didn't give me the correct name, but I just don't really pay attention to any of that speculative recruiting stuff. But I will trust your judgment on that.
Yeah.
So I'm glad to hear that we are sitting pretty with a quarterback.
Guess whose shirt I got on?
Well, it's number 9, so it's a
Number
football
9.
jersey. So I'm going to guess that's for Cam Martin. Who's that? Who's the number 9 for?
No, it was for Deuce Knott, but it's for the new number 9.
Well, I don't know who number 9 is on the team right now. Do you? Do you know off the top of your head who number 9 is?
Aquan Fagan.
That might be right, actually.
Aquan Fagan.
Let me see if I can confirm that for you real quick. I think you are correct, though, in that. Yes, it may not be a guess. Let's see. Number 9 is no, but I think you're going to be happy about this, Kevin, because I've heard you talk about this guy. I think I've heard you talk about it. On defense. Oh, he went away. Oh, no. The suspense is going to kill him. No. Kevin, we lost you, my man. You did have a little bit of trouble connecting there when you called for the first time, so I'm not shocked. Well, if he gets a call back in, we can try to let him in one more time, but I'll save it for a second. We'll just let everybody sit in suspense on who is number 9. I think one of them on offense is going to make him very happy, though, because I swear he has talked about this person before. I actually like the first number 9 that I'm reading right there a little bit more just because I'm more of a defensive guy. But, yeah, I hope this browser isn't going to do the weird thing. It's done a lot to me where it shrinks the thing down. Y'all watched that show, was it Auburn Family Night last week where it did this thing? I haven't had any problems with it all week. But of course, this show, and I think it has to do with when it adds people into the video part, it can't handle things now. So I don't know. I'm doing my best here to keep. I'm scared to move the the window down. All right, the chat has been quiet. I know some of you guys are there. Let's get things going here while we wait to see if Kevin can get connected here. He's trying. What's on your mind? What do you want to talk about? Don't be afraid to call in as well. Let's get this thing popping off tonight. I know it's a little bit sleepy there out there tonight, but what do we got? Hunter says, Byron Brown won the Heisman on my newest college football 26 dynasty, foreshadowing. Hopefully, don't do that to yourself. No, I hope that you are 100% correct and that your game is a foreshadowing of things to come. I'm very excited for Byron Brown. I just don't want people to do what they typically do and build narratives around players that aren't necessarily there. And I see it a lot in the common fandom of, when I say common, like just the day-to-day of conversations about Cam Newton and Byron Brown. At some point as a fan base, we've got to stop comparing every single player to Cam Newton. Like, I get he's the standard of quarterbacks for in the modern day for Auburn, but like, we got to let people be their own people. When we did that with Nick Marshall, he kind of maybe almost just a name for himself. It was seconds away from being another national championship quarterback. But I hope that you're right, Hunter. I said this on some other shows recently that I have not been able to access my college football 26 or my Xbox account for a long time now because I got locked out for some odd reason. And sorry, I'll just ruin this sponsorship right here. Xbox, y'all are 100% unhelpful, or Microsoft or whatever. So I gave up on that a while back, and I'll try again when I get some more time here in the next couple weeks. Once we're kind of through whatever Auburn men's basketball season is going to be the rest of the way, and we settle into just baseball and softball primarily as the core focus. There will be spring football too. Then maybe there will be a little bit of time. Yeah, Hunter, not Hunter. Kevin tried to get back in one more time, but it's not connecting. So we'll try. You can try one more time, Kevin. But there's been issues trying to get your phone connected all night. So I think it's just going to be one of those nights. Looks like he's trying one more time. And if I can see it get connected, I will bring him in. Let's see here. Hunter says, absolutely. We don't want to see him receive the Jeremy Johnson treatment. Talking about Byron Brown, that guy may have actually been the worst starting quarterback in the history of Auburn. Well, let's be kind now. Listen, I think it's easy for us to lump those type of superlatives on people, but we've got to remember that we haven't seen the full gamut of probably who could be in that one. Now, what I'm going to point out with what you just said there, though, Hunter, is that we saw it be a real thing that he was actually a legitimate quarterback. And he's actually had semi-pro success after he left here. For whatever reason, and I think he even did an interview not too long ago where he talked about this a little bit, that there was just some type of, he just couldn't get it right. There was a lot of pressure on him in that. Yeah, sometimes that does happen. All right, Kevin, let's try one more time just for a minute here. Oh, no. There he is. Kevin, you there? Uh-oh. Kevin? Oh, no. Kevin, I don't know tonight's going to work, but I'm trying to give you a little bit of, unfortunately. Kevin, my buddy, I think it's just not going to work this evening. We'll try again another night, though. I appreciate you trying, though. All right, let's keep rolling here. Kyle Frazier, yeah, that was rough, but who knows what happened there too. That's one of like 5 guys that actually infuriated me to watch them play. There's probably a longer list for me than that, but I try not to focus on that too much these days and focus mainly on the things that do make me happy. But I get it. All right. Let's see. Didn't he actually convert to tight end or something? So yes, Kyle Frazier converted to I think you're right on tight end, but it may have been wide receiver. All right, Kevin, we're going to give you one more chance. All right, buddy. I think your internet's having some struggles tonight, but we can try this last time.
Hey, I think our defense will be good.
Defense will be good. Yes, I'm hoping that they will with DJ Durkin still at the helm and what he does with defenses. Do you want to know who is the number 9 since we got cut off?
Yeah.
I'm going to give you a hint. Wide receiver. You've talked about him. I'm pretty sure you have.
Deshaun Spencer.
You got it. There it is. I told you you'd get it. Deshaun Spencer, number 9. I knew that would make you happy. There you go. Hey, so you have another number 9 as well on defense. I don't know that you're going to know it, but I'll give you a guess. Any guesses on number 9 on defense? Elijah Melendez.
Elijah Melendez.
Yeah, remember he got a couple of big plays last year. I think he's an up-and-comer linebacker for us. So there you go.
How about the men's basketball team beat LSU last night?
Finally, right? Wasn't it nice to get a win in so we could all be happy about something in basketball? Hey, listen, 2 nights in a row, Auburn men and women have given you reason to smile.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a good thing tonight. What else? One more thing. What you got?
And Pettiford had 27, and Kevin Overton had 21.
Was it 27 or 29? You may be right. I think it may have been 27, but for some reason in my head I had 29. I don't know if he's done it previously and I just forgot about it, but it's nice to see him do so well at home. Mr. Kevin, here's what. Go ahead.
I hope we beat Alabama Saturday.
Me too, buddy. All right, here's what I want to know from you. How many more games does Auburn women's basketball win in the SEC tournament? They can play up to 5.
They could win 5 straight.
They could, but what do you think? How far do you think realistically they'll go? They got 1. How many more?
They could go like 3 days straight winning.
Hey, now listen, if Coach Vickers puts together a 3-game run here in the SEC tournament in his first year, given the difficult year they have, hey, I'm going to be smiling about that. That is straight up like Bruce Pearl's first year, so that'd be good.
Yeah, we need a winning season for the men and the women.
Yeah, aren't you kidding? You're not kidding, I guess I should say.
Baseball team is doing good. They're 10-2.
They are doing absolutely good. I got to get a sip of water here.
And softball team is 17-6.
So far, so good. Kevin, it was good to talk to you tonight, my buddy. I'm sorry we had so much internet controls or issues there.
I'll see you at 8A game.
I'm counting on it, buddy.
Bye.
All right, bye. Where you go? Good to see you. Good to see Kevin. He stuck it out there with the issues with the internet tonight, but we made it through there. So you guys can take advantage of the phone calls tonight as well. Please do so. We'd love to hear from some of you all, some that maybe we haven't heard from in a while. Just click that link and you can jump on in the chat here today. Hunter says you should use your social media power to push for an Eagle flight on A-Day. If I had that amount of power, Hunter, I would absolutely do it. Now, Austin and I have put that out there in the world already. I think when we first discussed A-Day, we did talk about that the whole thing about this particular A-Day is to do it new. Oop, I got to put we got to do something on the fly here. I didn't realize my phone was a little bit low. If the whole thing is to do more traditional things and to, try to get back to that old feel of things, which makes fans a lot of happy, then, hey, having a War Eagle flight, even though I don't know that they've ever done it at A-Day, that would be a good thing. He says, you have power. I've seen firsthand you direct them where to put the banner during Tiger Walk. Well, first of all, that's not an official Auburn entity. That's just some fans that choose to do that. I may have suggested where they set up because I was already set up somewhere and the crowds had already formed and I couldn't move anywhere else for a better shot. So it was more so of me saying, hey, there's your spot over there, and not the absolutely saying, this is where you're supposed to be. But I appreciate you thinking that I have that type of power. I hope I do, but I would probably agree. No. Test flight, he says, #test flight. I haven't gotten whiff of any test flights that have been happening in Jordan here. Not that I have some inside source to that, but sometimes they'll share like we've been practicing or whatever. in Jordan Hare preparing for the next season, and that might be a sign that they were seeing if it would work out. Yeah, I would love to see it. Kyle, good at banner setups, terrible at player nicknames. Oh, come on. I'm not that bad at player nicknames. Like it could be worse. It could always be worse. Hunter says Auburn is receiving an official visit from a guy from my hometown. He's 6'7" wide receiver from Prattville, Alabama. If he is a fluid mover and can run a half decent route, how do you guard that? Now, let's remove the person that you're familiar with, because I don't want what I'm about to say to be a holistic reflection on him. I have been burned every single time we get, or teams that I follow get, a 6'6", a 6'7" wide receiver. You would think that, yes, just throw the ball up to him, but rarely have they actually worked out in some significant fashion as a wide receiver. Now, tight ends obviously receive as well, but yeah, I mean, it's when you reach that 6'6", 6'7", you're losing a little bit of that speed with compactness ability. You become a little bit more stringy and lanky. Very, I hate it's not a good word to bring up right now, but for Chad Baker Mazzara, but that's kind of what it looks like. They lose a little bit of that quickness, that twitch that they have when they get to those type of measurables. So hopefully maybe your guy is the one that bucks the trend if he comes to Auburn or wherever he goes. But I've become more and more skeptical of when I see wide receivers pass like 6'5". It just hasn't worked out a ton at Auburn, in my opinion. Doesn't mean I'm right. What's up, Micah? This is Hunter. Hunter says, I wish we'd have seen Galesh convert Perry Thompson, I guess, to a tight end. I think he would have excelled within the role. I don't know if Perry played at tight end or whatever. I mean, maybe, but he had to choose to stay, and he's not here right now. Can I just put you guys? I have the roster pulled up here because of a question earlier from Kevin. I'm counting it up right now. Well, actually, let me go to. Let me go to positions. I want to count up how many names from last year there still are at wide receiver for this team. You have 1, 2, 3, 4. Any more? No. 4. 4 names from last year on this team at wide receiver. Can anybody guess who those are? You know one, because everybody's hoping that he's the one that'll work out from the Freeze 4. But can anybody else name the other, all 4, but the other 3 that I haven't given you a hint about who are left on there from last year? Let me know if you've got it. Yes, I can count. Thank you for that. I appreciate that so much. Looks like our friends at Barnes Supply just shared the link. We appreciate that. Thanks for checking. I don't know if you guys are watching on the back end there, but come on in. The phone line's open for you guys if you're back there. Yes, Micah did say the dirty words, and then he's thrown. Nobody's going to have a guess at this one? Nobody? Let's see. Bryce Kane, Sam Turner are the easy ones. Very good. Very good. Those would be the 2 easiest ones to gather. The other 2 are easy. The other 2 are easy if you think about it in a certain way. Anybody else want to take a stab at the other 2? The last 4 wide receivers that are only remaining from last year's team. WT, are you misunderstanding the question, or did I make it sound confusing? Because it sounds like you're saying the greatest Auburn wide receivers: Lawyer Tillman, Terry Beasley, Cody Burns. Hunter's getting there. He picked up on what my hint was. You're just so close to that. So maybe you can come up with it here in a minute. I just had no idea who it could be. Yes. Okay. So I will tell you guys. Stop leaving you in suspense. Wide receivers from last year: Bryce Kane, Sam Turner, Duke, and Eric Smith. Or I believe Derek Smith and Eric Smith is what it. And if that's not confusing, I don't know what is. But he goes by Duke Smith, and he is. Yeah, let's look at those here. Now that we're on this conversation, now my mind's just kind of rolling through here. Let's look at who our tallest wide receiver is. Jeremiah Coger, 6'3". Chaz Nimrod, 6'2". Eric Smith is probably going to be your tallest at 6'4". Keyshawn Singleton at 6'3". Why am I going so much? Goodness. And then Brian Williams at 6'4", the new freshman. I wasn't aware that he was that tall. So you've got two 6'4" guys. You haven't seen a lot of Eric Smith. I don't know if you'll see a lot of Brian Williams this year. So the main guys that you're going to be seeing of any height are going to be Keyshawn Singleton, who is it? Chaz Nimrod and Jeremiah Coger, not Kroger. Those are the ones that are going to be the larger targets for you to hit at wide receiver this year. Cam Coleman was better than all of those guys. Well, that's like saying, I don't know, what's an analogy that I don't know. I can't come up with a phrase, but that's like an unfair assessment, right? And we didn't even see him to his full potential though, you know? Hunter says, I'm super in tune with the depth chart and play styles and strengths. I don't know if that was in reference to, but if you are, then you need to give us your insight into all of those different things. But anyway, the roster's out there. If you want to talk about it some more, we talked about on the show this week, quarterbacks, edge and ends, maybe a defensive line as a whole. Linebackers, and believe it or not, we talked about punters too, because I had gotten asked a lot, was there going to be a certain individual back? WT's right now he's going to ask me to say it, and I'm not going to do it. But there you go. There's some roster talk for you if you want to have a little bit more. I've got it pulled up and we can talk about it. All right. Last thing here, and we'll get our next caller in. Micah says, I understand what you're saying with 6'5", but to me, tall has its perks to a point in terms of getting over the top defenders. Yeah, I 100% agree. In a perfect world, if you've got a wide receiver that is up to caliber, can be out there, earn the snaps to be out there, and he is 6'5", 6'6", 6'7", like Hunter was saying, this person he knows, of course that gives you an advantage, but you got to be able to do the other things that well and better than the other wide receivers that aren't as stretched out as you are. I just haven't seen it work out a whole lot. I know it's recent, and easy to be biased, but Cam Coleman is likely Auburn's most talent wide receiver ever. That guy is one of the few I've ever watched with a ceiling that had no limits. I think his only limit is what he wants to put into working and stuff like that. And I think he learned a little bit of that in his first year. I would say it's a bit premature to say he's Auburn's best wide receiver ever, just based off of speculation. We saw a lot of good things. We also saw some things where he left a little bit to be desired. The talent, is very, very much there. And to be fair, you said most talented, not the best overall. But I think that's kind of where we were heading in that conversation. Yes, Hudson Cack is his name. Yeah. And just to look at the combine this year, these kids are faster and faster. Who are you telling? Okay, let's get our next caller in. He's been waiting patiently. You know him, you love him. Let's go to school. Mr. Thomas, what's going on, sir?
War Eagle, y'all. How y'all doing this evening?
I'm hanging in there, man. I'm trying my best to not have cotton mouth tonight with this thing that's going on with me. But
I feel you, buddy. I just got one of them 24-hour bugs, and it was literally 24 hours of bugs.
You and a lot of other people I know are getting this 24-hour bug, which makes me very concerned that it's heading my way, even though we are miles apart from each other. But because what I'm saying is, I know one person that's in Birmingham. You're more towards me from Birmingham, so I'm wondering now, are we getting a little bit of a, trying to come hit us over here towards Atlanta and all that kind of stuff? So you keep that over there.
I'd love to, but I reckon it's coming down 20 your ways.
Yeah. I hope not. Yeah, it says, it's hot in Leeds when the window fan is brought out. It's a little warm now. It's not bad, but it's getting warmer.
Look, there's fans going in this house year round. If I don't have air blowing on me, I can't handle it.
Yes, I love having a good fan going every single time, even in the winter. It's just necessary. I like the background noise.
I really hope nobody else gets that bug, because it lasted from 3 o'clock in the morning the other day till 3 o'clock in the morning today. It was awful. I really hope nobody gets it.
Well, everybody's just out there. Wash your hands and all that stuff. Stay healthy, because
stay home.
Stay home. If you think you're sick, just stay home at this point. Anyway,
look, that was the first time in over 8 years I've called out of work. It was that bad.
Wow. That is saying something. All right. Well, I hope that you're on the mend now and everybody else stays safe of it. What you got on your mind, Auburn related?
Well, I feel like I am, but touch real quick, basketball. Not the season that we all want. Expected is different than wanted, right?
Yep.
So not the season up to this point that we wanted. We still got a tournament to play. We still got some players who might be able to turn it on. We don't know. We're just gonna have to see. And we gotta not we can't poo-poo on this team already. It's goodness gracious. We lost our head coach. We brought in a new head coach. We had one returning starter. We had all these this, that, and the other going on. What did we realistically expect? Did we expect, honestly, to go back to the Final Four with all of that going on? If you did, I think you're crazy.
I can tell you from firsthand experience, Thomas, there were people that legitimately were telling me that at the beginning of the season. And I said, look, I love that you're that optimistic about the season, but I get accused of being a sunshine pumper, and I can't pump that much with you. I'm just saying, that's just not where I can't go with you on that.
Look, basketball is a different sport than any other sport. Track and field is a different sport than any other sport. You got to have pieces in place to win, and that depends on the sport you're playing. So, at the beginning of the season, I was hopeful that it was going to go well. About halfway through the non-conference play, I went, I don't like this. I'll give it a chance to get the conference play. We got a conference play. I don't like this. Well, guess what? This is the hand that we were dealt. This is the hand these kids were dealt. They're trying to build a team together. Yeah. And I'm going to do my best not to sunshine pump and my best not to poo-poo on them. But it is what it is right now. We might make the tournament. We might not. If we do make the tournament, I expect us to go at least 2 rounds before if we make it to the tournament and we go out in the first game, I'm a little unhappy. We make it to the second round and we lose to a quality team with much better wins than us, much better players than us. I get it. But we need to survive the SEC tournament first before anybody should throw any shade, I guess, as the young kids would say it, on this team. We've got to let them play it out. Yeah. This basketball is a minute-by-minute sport.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Can I ask you what you said about if they don't get past the first round, that's disappointing, which I do agree with. Second round, you would be like, okay, just kind of the way I understood you were saying, making peace with it. Like it's fine. You accept it for given what all transpired this year. Let me add to that. Say they are one of the first 4, meaning they have to play a pre-first round. So let's say they lose in the first four. Is that extra disappointing, or if they were to win that first four game, then win the first round game, and is that more like how are you going to balance that perspective? Because I think we all need to wrestle with that too. If Auburn makes the tournament at this point, it's very likely that they will be an 11 seed if the way things shake out that it could, which means that they would be a first four team and have to play an extra round. So how do you, with your perspective of how you would judge the season, how does that work out in your mind?
I'm going to have to agree with Micah here. He said it depends on the quarter of the bracket you go into. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. If you go into that bottom of bottom feedings and win one, I think it means more than if you don't go into that bottom four. They just stick you in there because you happen to be in the Final Four twice in the last 6-7 years. You know, it's not about the name. It's about the quality of the team and how they're playing. Mm-hmm. If that makes sense.
No, that makes sense.
You know, if we lose that first game, I'm just like, all right, we got to fold we got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them, right? So if we get past that first round and we get to that second game, and we just play poorly, that means that's different than going in there and playing great and losing to a good team.
Yeah. No,
you know,
I'm with you.
Let's go back, and this is not going to make sense to a lot of folks, but let's go back to playing Florida in the SEC championship versus playing Florida in the Final Four last year. Mm-hmm. Completely different.
Yeah.
Earlier this year, played Florida, played defense like crazy. Looked great. Next game after that, didn't look that good. I don't think we're a complete team yet. You know, you can take it however you really want to. Mm-hmm. But we're not built right now with this team and this coaching staff that's still learning all together to get where us as Auburn fans want us to be. You got to look at the reality of the situation of the turnover with the coaching staff, the turnover with the players, and we can expect whatever we want to, and we do expect this team to do things because of what we're used to. But you got to face the reality of the situation is we're not looking at a 2017 and 2019 Auburn team anymore.
Yeah.
We're not looking at that.
I think it's fair to expect more of this team, not just because that's what we're accustomed to, but because we've seen this team at times do a lot more, and not just in a one-off situation. They had last-second shot attempt to win the game versus Houston. They beat St. John's. They beat Arkansas. They beat Kentucky. They have beaten Florida is their signature win at their place. This isn't those aren't flukes. That's a body of work which you can collectively point to and say, okay, you look at what Auburn did there. You couple that when they tried to face the best of the best this year, your Arizona, your Purdue, your Michigan. You're not ready. You weren't at that time and probably still aren't ready for those, which means you're not one of the best. But you have been able to compete with some of the best, a la Houston, some of the better teams out there, St. John's, Arkansas, Florida would also be in that, some of the best out there too. So there's a complete body of work to say it's frustrating knowing that you've been capable of doing that, not just in a one-off, not just in a two-off, but multiple times, and then seeing it just kind of all throughout 1 month fall apart. So like when I push back on people's frustrations a little bit, it's not because of I don't agree with some of it. I'm frustrated as well because it's frustrating to see this stuff live in reality and it not get together, you know? So I think that's a different kind of frustration for Auburn fans out there. It's not just for some people, it's they can't get out of their mind because we made the Final Four last year. This is ridiculous. You should be able to do it every. That's not that simple. But because I think for the more contextual Auburn fans, which I feel like is the majority, you can see what they were capable of and why can't we do that again? The SEC is good, but it ain't as good as it was last year. We beat the best in the SEC already. So I'm with you. It's not a time to be hurling, your emotional frustrations at this thing. Constructive criticism, 100%, because this team is way better than they had played this last couple. So I'm with you in way you're assessing that out there.
I think what frustrates me the most is the consistency. Is early on in the season we showed a proclivity to go out there and win big games, even though we weren't really gelling the way that we normally see an Auburn basketball team do. And then further in the season, we saw less consistency. And that's not something us as fans have anything to do with. It has everything to do with inside that locker room and inside the practice facility and the workouts. And there is literally nothing we can do or say to help this team, but there are so many things we can put out on the Google box today to hurt this team. If they're seeing that, we can be negative about these kids, or we can lift them up.
No, I think it's fair.
Or we can lift them up. So basketball, not where everybody wanted it to be, but football is coming, baby.
When I saw the roster come out, I often like there's a mile marker towards certain things like football season. When something like the roster comes out, I think there's a couple individuals that I know are just like, and you were one of them. So, hey, do you see anybody you recognize on that roster? By the way, have you taken a look at that thing?
Yeah, I saw a lot of them on special teams.
Oh man. Wow. I am so flabbergasted just by, we all knew it was coming, right? Like with the transfer portal, almost 40 players in the recruiting class. And it was going to be a lot of new faces, but this is something unique, man. I haven't experienced this even to this level in the transfer portal yet. So it's wild to think I will go to a football game this year and not recognize, I will recognize them by that time, but I wouldn't recognize them a year ago. Like, it's just wild to think about that.
I think the main thing that us as Auburn fans need to look to this year with the roster transition is not necessarily a senior class, but a senior player laden team.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of experience, and we've talked about we brought in experience on this front and that front and that front.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like right now, overall, we have a lot of experience to play in football. And you can say they're power forward, this, that, the other. But you brought in a center. That brought in a quarterback. That brought in a head coach. You can phrase that however you want to. But you've got if you take a train, we've built the locomotive. What cars are we going to put behind it to move forward to get our job done? And I think that Golish has done a great job of bringing in necessary pieces. And one thing I really love that it's in different podcasts and interviews and whatever else, Byron Brown, his worst fear is to not be elite. I think that's great. I think that is dead on the spot that somebody says, I refuse to come in here and suck. I think that's paramount to this team's success this year. I think that means somebody is a leader and that somebody is coached by that person as a leader and somebody that's played with that guy as a leader. And the rest of this team in the weight room and the workouts with this guy's a leader. And that's what a team needs is a leader, not somebody who's better than everybody else. They need somebody who does the nitty-gritty, hard work. You know what? I'm going to do push-ups with you. I'm going to come over here and we're going to throw after practice. I'm going to come over here and we're going to eat dinner and we're going to go through the playbook. Somebody that's a leader. And I think that there have been some quarterbacks in the past that have not been leaders with this team. And I think there's some coaches in the past that have not allowed quarterbacks to be leaders. They've tended to be either too far back or too far forward. And I think we've got a good thing going right now. And now, again, I'm hopeful. I'm very hopeful. But the vibe that I'm picking up on these new guys coming in and wanting to be at Auburn and wanting to play for Coach Golish, I think we have a good thing going. And I'm excited to see it in spring. I'm excited to see, spring practice is spring practice. It's what Alan and I were saying. Practice? Yeah, it is practice, but you got to practice if you want to get better.
Right.
He would have been in the league 5 years more had he not worried about games and focused more on practice. Did Charles Barkley ever not practice? Did Frank Thomas ever just walk out of practice and say, no, I'm good enough?
Right.
Did Bo Jackson ever say, I'm good enough and not work? Did any of the greats that are written in the annals of time ever say, I'm good enough, I don't need to work harder? Not a single one.
Well, I agree 100% with what you're saying. I will say if there was ever a person that could have just walked away and said, I'm good, that's Bo Jackson, because he was just pure talent. But he's a hard
Bo
worker.
Jackson Bo is the greatest athlete of all time.
Right.
I'm not saying he's the greatest football player, not saying he's the greatest running back, not saying blah, 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 blah. He's the greatest athlete of all time. Look, one of my high school coaches went with him. You know what Bo's workout was?
What?
He went bow hunting, and he killed a deer, and he put it over his shoulders, and he walked it back to the house.
Yeah.
That was Bo Jackson's workout.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't need no weights. He was God's gift to football or athleticism, but he was one of a million. Mm-hmm. But his work ethic never stopped.
Sure. Yeah. I completely agree with you there that he's the greatest athlete of all time, at least of the modern era. Like when you try to compare things of the past, the way things were done back then, maybe proportionally it's not a fair comparison, but for what we know as sports today and the legends of today that are still around too, Bo Jackson, I think is number one in all aspects of that. And proofs of the pudding. I mean, when you're not only a great gamesman, but you were good at track, you were good at baseball, you're good at football, and then everything else that people talk about, stories about, you're just good at everything. Like you said, it's just like God said, let him be good at everything, and he is. So that's Bo Jackson for you. I do want to go back to what you said about Byron Brown. I really like the kid from what I've seen. Very little I have seen thus far. But I always operate with a little bit of caution these days. As you said, we've been through it a little bit with quarterbacks and offenses and things like that. But I'm trying to always be aware and honest myself. Am I looking for reasons to be excited or looking for things to be negative about? But there's just something about the way I saw him do his very first interview when he signed with Auburn. I was like, there's something there. In terms of a leader, right? Like, I'm not saying that he's going to have a Heisman season. I'm not saying that we're about to go win 9 games. I'm just saying that this feels like someone who recognizes the opportunity that is before him on another level, meaning he's already been very accomplished at the group of 5 level. No one's going to deny that. But he has an opportunity to take that notion that just because you come from a group of 5, which is a silly notion. We've seen plenty of people come from a group of 5, coaches, players, and have great success. Not all of them, but there's plenty of them out there. He has the opportunity to do this on the biggest stage in college football against one of the best programs in college football historically of notoriety and in the SEC conference. And so I think that not only is this a guy that's matured, and from what I've heard, stories talked about him from the offensive coordinator, things like that. But I think he's excited about the fortune that he has to do this one last ride here in the biggest stage in college football. So I'm excited. And so I'm right there with you about leadership and everything for Byron, what it looks to be out there so far.
Oh, I gotta touch again on what Michael Wright said. Kobe. Absolute legend. Dude tore it up. Every game he ever played, he tore it up. Let's ride back to football real quick. You're talking about lesser teams beating better teams. West Virginia beating Oklahoma. Boise State winning. I'm sorry, it may not have been West Virginia, Oklahoma, but West Virginia coming into that Super Bowl game, winning out.
Mm-hmm.
Boise State coming into that Super Bowl game, that BCS winning out. You got to think about USF coming into Auburn 2007. I was at that game. It hurt so bad.
I was there too.
But the better team won that night. The team that played harder, the players that went in there and fought for it harder, won that game.
Yeah.
And I think we got a gamer at quarterback. I really think we got a gamer at center. I really think we got some good O-linemen coming in. I think we've got some great receivers coming in. Who's our new one? Keyshawn Coleman.
You've got Keyshawn Singleton. You've got Chaz Nimrod. You've got I just said it a second ago. There's a couple on there, but I can give you more if you need them. But that's probably who you were thinking of, Keyshawn Singleton.
Yeah, Singleton. And from what I read, he wears a size 3X glove. Are you kidding? That's ridiculous. The guy's out there with a catcher's mitt. I don't care if he's 6'5". He can be 6 foot with a hand that large.
Yeah.
That ball's just gonna stick.
Yeah. Well, it goes to the point of the conversation we were having earlier about everybody gets excited about 6'6", 6'7", 6'5" wide receivers, but what do you do with that, right? I would be more excited about what you're talking about, a wide grip of being able to enclose around the football, because surely if you have that much surface area, you're going to be able to hold on to that thing a lot better than most people. So that would probably be the stat or the measurable that I would focus on. What is your, do you have like hand width or something like that or whatever it is?
I mean, if you're wearing a 3X glove, you're basically lineman hands.
Yeah.
You're covering face, like, the alien movies. Like,
yes.
That's a big old hand.
Face hugger. That's what those are called. Yeah.
I mean, that's a ball snatcher. It's gone. And I would rather have a quarterback who's accurate than a quarterback who can go, good luck.
Yeah.
Jared Stidham was fairly accurate.
Mm-hmm.
He never threw one that was just like, best of luck to you, buddy. He didn't throw those dumb balls that some quarterbacks throw.
Now, there are times where you can just throw it up, and that was to people like Cam Coleman, but but that's usually you got to give them something to work with.
Well, if you compare the stats side by side this past year between Cam Coleman, I love the kid. I wish we would. I would love to have Cam Coleman on one side and Singleton, not our Singleton, the new Singleton on the other. I'd love to have that, but we don't. So if you compare their stats side by side, stats wise, pardon me, new fella coming in, Singleton, I think it's Keyshawn Singleton, had better stats. I'm not saying that he's better than Cam Coleman. I'm just saying right now on paper, with these giant these Goliath hands he had, he caught more balls, he had more yards, he had more touchdowns.
Yeah.
So, okay, great. Let's see if that transitions. I'm not throwing Cam Coleman out. I'm just saying he took the highest dollar to go to Texas, which is the worst state possible. But, it's, good luck to him. I want you to go make your millions, go to the league, be great.
Yeah.
If you don't want to be at Auburn and make Auburn better, then don't come to Auburn and don't make Auburn better.
And in my opinion, he left in the best way you can, or not the best way, but in a good way. Like he had a little tribute video for Auburn and things like that. So I think it's one of those things where this isn't a guy that's, being holistically selfish or anything like that. He's just taking the opportunity that he's afforded to do, and no one should fault the kid for doing that.
I don't fault him. I don't fault him at all.
Yeah.
I wish he would have stayed, but I don't think he would get the production this year at Auburn that he deserves because of the talents around him.
Absolutely. All right, sir.
That includes quarterback.
Yep. I need a prediction before we go. Let's see. I want from you a score prediction for Auburn, Alabama this weekend.
Let me look in the Kool-Aid leaves. Unpopular opinion, I think we lose by 8.
Lose by 8. Okay. So we'll just get a little margin of victory for Alabama or whoever for Alabama there. But I listen, if you go into Tuscaloosa and you lose by 8, that tells me they're probably making some free throws at the end of the game to stretch that out to 8. Usually how that happens, which means it's much closer. I'm not happy about losing, but given how this goes, if you walk in there and it's a game and it's just an 8-point margin right there, I kind of walk away from that, given how things have gone, going, well, we gave it our best shot at this, and it's just not put together right now. So we'll see.
I think we lose on rebounds and missed 3-pointers.
3-pointers, yes. That's going to be a big factor. I'm hoping we can maintain what we've been able to do with rebounds. But
yeah,
if we lose the rebounds, it's going to be bad.
Pettiford can't be the only one making threes.
Absolutely. All right, sir. It's always good to hear from you.
I don't want to see Pettiford playing down low anymore. Sick of it.
I hear you. Well, sir, it's great to hear from you as always. Thanks for calling in and giving us your perspectives tonight.
War Eagle, y'all have a good night.
All right, you too. Thanks. All right, great calls tonight. If you want to get in last minute here, you certainly are welcome to. Please do if you can. Once again, I want to remind you of our friends at Barnes Supply. They got their logo down there. They're supporting Auburn Family Night for the next little bit with us, and we are so happy to have them back on board with us again. And check out this hat. How do you not want this hat? Work, hard work. It is straight the Auburn mantra, right? I believe in work, hard work. You can get that wherever you go shop at barnesupply.com. We would appreciate it if you shop via our link. It's very simple. If you'll just go visit through our link and you go end up going purchasing something there, it shows them that we sent them to them, and knows that we are a valuable partner in that way. Even just visiting over there you never know what you might want to see over there, but check it out. Work, hard work. See, listen, Micah, this isn't even that Auburn. I mean, I know it's blue and orange right there, but this could be anything. Do you not believe in work, hard work? I mean, you're a Bama fan, so you believe in excuses. Sorry, I'm carrying that over from there. But please do check them out and support them. They are a great Auburn company, and we love having them on board here. All right, the phone line, if you are by chance getting in line for that, I can leave that open, but I'm going to close down the little crawler there. Yes, as always, Thomas is a great insight here on the show. And we appreciate having him on. Any other final comments, questions, topics? Drop those in right now. I'll look back through some of the things that you all were talking about and maybe bring those back up. But let's get to your last minute things here on what's left of Auburn Family Night. Reminders for you for upcoming schedule stuff. Yes, we will be doing post-game Auburn versus Alabama. Win or lose, we're going to break it down. And I know the majority of you in that chat will probably be talking about the SEC tournament, but we won't. We'll be talking about Auburn versus Alabama. The stats, the stories, we'll cover it all. That Sunday, right after that Saturday, we will have the Auburn Experience episode 165. We will, in that one, be focusing a lot on the SEC tournament and looking forward on that one. And then probably a lot of baseball and softball news with Auburn baseball wrapping up its non-conference series play and first weekend of SEC play for softball and plenty of other things. There's already a lot happening this week that we'll discuss on Auburn Experience. And then before you know it, the SEC tournament will be here. So we don't know the opponent. We don't know how it's all going to shake out yet, but we will be doing, as far as I can tell, post-game shows for every single one of the. Now, what does that mean for our purposes on Auburn Family Night? If there is a conflict, we will defer to a post-game show rather than Auburn Family Night. My hope is that we won't have that issue, but there is a likelihood that it could, given that there are 4 game slot times, I think, and 2 of them would definitely conflict with it. So if you don't want Auburn Family Night to miss out next week, you better hope for an early game. But I honestly don't want us to have an early game. So there's that. Looking for that for the schedule for the week. All right. What do we got here? You were talking mad trash on TikTok earlier. You were. You were in rare form today on the TikTok, Mr. Micah. All right, folks. Well, it was a little bit more of a quieter night this week, but sometimes that's fine. I know we're sitting here in the middle of a transition period between the end-ish of basketball season. Football is just around the corner from getting started. I think 2 weeks from now, a little less than 2 weeks from now, maybe a week and a half, practices start. So, if we get back together next week, that's what we'll be focusing on, and along with baseball and all that kind of stuff. What about a post-game family night? You don't want an early game, but hated last night's 10 p.m. tip. I don't want like 11 a.m. tip-off. How about that? The sweet spot for me would be like the game is at 3 Eastern time, over by 5. We're wrapped up with the show at latest by 6 p.m. That way I can go eat dinner, take a break, and then come back and do Auburn Family Night. But I do have family responsibilities here that I have to always consider before anything else. So that's why I have to limit to most situations, one live stream a day or a night. I want more 5 p.m. tip-offs. There you go. So if you 5 p.m. means it's done by 7, which means we could get it done, but I have to think about my personal schedule. WT wants thoughts on the Winthrop series this weekend. I don't really have much to go off of there, WT. I'm not really familiar with Winthrop's prowess at baseball. I can't really recall them being that formidable as of late. I could be wrong. If you look how a schedule is usually built out, the last thing that you do before conference play is usually, in a lot of sports, a tune-up. That is not me saying that they'll sweep it. Wouldn't shock me if they did. I mean, they played in the Amegy Bank Classic, which was very difficult. They played Nebraska, who proved to be a little bit formidable as well. And then they've got a very challenging, midweek schedule all throughout the season. So I would just wonder if this isn't supposed to kind of go how we hope it will, but that's about as far as I can go. I'm very happy with where the team is at right now. Kyle, move west. I'll solve your timing problems. It's just one time zone. Thomas, I promise you, my man, I am always looking for opportunities to make that a reality. Nothing really makes sense for us right now, but I've been saying this and hinting at this a lot. I come to Auburn as much as I can. There may be a reason for me to go to Auburn more often and with ease in the coming future, but I can't really get into that here on right now. We're not moving or anything like that, but basically you might see me around there a little bit more for things like that. WT gave us a little info on Winthrop. They are 10-2 and beat Sanford. We beat Sanford, so there's a common thread there. I don't really know where Sanford sits at this year in baseball, but they're typically decent at the very least. So 10-2, depending on what their schedule is. It's a good sign. So we'll see. Yeah, it's a teaser on my thing. It's nothing really major. It's just another reason for me to travel to Auburn a little bit more frequently. Not even work related, but obviously I would work with that too. Colin time zones. It didn't have to be this one. Well played. Well played. On that note, thank you all for being here. I enjoy Auburn Family Night very much with you all. It's a great time where I can just kick back and meet with you guys, the Auburn family. Y'all keep inviting friends in here. We do hit this point usually about this time of year, especially when basketball's not doing that good, where everything's kind of quieted down. If you know somebody that would enjoy this as an Auburn fan, please invite them in, encourage them to be here, and get the chat going. And we'd love to continue to build this little family within the Auburn family. As always, we appreciate you all. I want to remind you as we go, the Auburn Creed asks you to do justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with God. We ask you to do the same thing. War Eagle.